everyone, this is Sasha bringing you a video tutorial today from BP4U. And today, let's edit a photo. So we've talked about this, all of these different panels going down through here. So let's use them and put them to some good use. So I'm actually going to start here at the bottom, and I'm going to check my profile, and I'm going to see if I like the Adobe standard or if I want a different profile here. So camera vivid, and I've got camera standard, camera portrait, camera neutral, camera landscape, and Adobe standard. And I do think I'm going to stick for this picture with the Adobe standard. And I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to fix my picture here because this wall looks like it's getting ready to fall on him. And so in the morning time, I have this light that shines through my door, and it is bright orange from where the sun is coming up. And so when he was standing here this morning, I absolutely had to get a shot, but he didn't stand there long, so I didn't get the perfect one that I had dreamed in my mind. But that's okay, because we can kind of fix this here in Lightroom. So I'm going to rotate my picture using this rotate tool here, and that is going to kind of fix that door issue. And then I think I'm going to bring that around just a little bit and maybe rotate that back up just a smidge. Now let's constrain my crop and see how that looks. So we can go ahead and do a before and an after. So here was our before and there was our after. So it's just a subtle change, but I like it. So I'm going to come back up here now to the basic panel, and I'm going to pick something neutral and see how my white balance looks. This should be white. But I can see over here in my navigation panel that if I click anywhere here, it's going to turn my photo really blue to try to counter out the yellow or the orange light that's coming in through the window. So I don't think that this is going to be a good option for me. But I might go ahead and just warm it just a little. Really just a smidge. We're at 5200, so right about there maybe. And I'm going to add just a hint of magenta because I can see some green casts over here. And so we can see our before and our after on that. And by the way, if you hit your backslash key, that's another way that you can look at your before and your after too. Okay, so down here we have our exposure tool. I don't think I need to expose the picture too much more. I might go ahead and add just a little bit of fill light, maybe a little bit of recovery in the window area. I don't want to add too much black because my photo is so dark down here. I actually think I should come down here and enable my lens correction to maybe remove some of that vignetting. And then I can go ahead and push my blacks a little bit further. Alright, so I'm going to add just a little bit of contrast. And a little bit of clarity for that mid-tone contrast. And maybe a little bit of vibrance. So let's see again how that looks from my before to my after. And I think that looks pretty good. So the next thing I have here is a my tone curve, which was giving me automatically some contrast. I think I'm going to come over here and I'm going to bring this exposure down some and maybe bring up my exposure a little bit here. I want that down. Look at the before and the after. I don't want that to be down too much. So we can move down here now to the split toning or this HSL. I think I'm going to need to add some red saturation here to his skin to give him more of a nice glow. So I want to look at my before and my after on that. And I definitely can see the difference between the two right here in his face. And so moving on down, we have the split toning panel. And so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to add a little bit of a tone to this picture. So I can increase or decrease my saturation. I don't want to get rid of this orange stuff here. I really want to emphasize that my light that was coming in through my window was orange, while keeping in mind that I want his skin tones to look pretty normal. So in the shadows, I'm not going to do anything too saturated. And so then I can balance that more towards the color of the highlight, and let's see how that looks. I think I'm going to change my shadow color here. We're going to go ahead and use our shortcut where we hold down the Alt key, and then we can see I thought that was more of an orange color, but it was a very deep red. So let's find a warmer orangey tone. There we go. Now let's look, and that looks a lot better. So those little keyboard tips and tricks really do help. So I'm going to put that there. And again, I'm going to see my before and my after, and I really like that effect. So I'm going to come down here to my detail, and it's telling me it wants me to zoom in, but I'm going to just go ahead and I'm just going to add a little bit of sharpening to the photo, and I'm going to check out my radius here. And I can see it's not really got a whole lot here that it's grabbing onto. So I think I'm going to leave it right around in here. And maybe add just a little bit of detail, but I don't want to go too crazy with it because I don't want there to be a lot of grain. And so here I'm controlling my masking. I'm going to decide where I want that sharpening to be at. Again, the white reveals and the black conceals. I don't think I have a lot of noise in this picture. I shot it with a pretty low ISO. And so I'm going to add a post-crop vignette in my effects here. I don't want it to be too deep. I'll pull my midpoint out. I want my roundness to be more towards the edges. So maybe right about like that. Okay, so here we can look at our before and our after. So this was the before and this was the after. Definitely loving that after about 1,000,000 times better. So I've got a couple other pictures that are pretty similar looking. So we can go ahead and batch edit those. So I'm just going to click Control and I'm going to grab these other pictures and I'm going to click on Sync. And so now I'm going to check all of the things here that I want to include. And so I'm not going to include my lens corrections because I feel like that's very personal to each photo. But I am going to, I'm not going to do crop or spot removal either. I am going to include the white balance changes that I made and all of the basic panel, my tone curve, my clarity, my sharpening. This would be my split toning right here. Or no, this is everything in the HSL panel. And we have our color here, our split toning. I didn't do anything with a local brush. I did not do noise reduction. We did sharpening. And so I can go ahead and I can synchronize the photos then. Give that a second to catch up, and I can see now that my photos have been synchronized to fit. Let's check our before and our after here. So this was our before and this is our after. And so with very little effort, I have now batch edited all of these photos and got some pretty nice results that were pretty close to my original vision for this. And I didn't have to do very much effort. I'm going to go ahead and fix this one because as you can see I'm having that door issue again. So I'm just going to rotate the picture. And I'm going to enable my lens correction there. That looks better. And so I can go through here too and I can check to see if any of them need rotated or fixed in that way. Let's do my profile correction. And so there we have it. That's how you can batch edit some photos using Lightroom 3. And that is how I edit my photos using Lightroom 3. And so Lightroom 3 can be a really great tool to go in and quickly do some edits. You can see it didn't take me very much time. And then I turned around and I didn't just edit one picture, I edited 5. And so again, here's the before and the after on that one. And so it was really nice that I was able to pull that through so quickly. So thank you for watching this video tutorial. Happy editing, everyone!